Well, hello there. Welcome. It's another week has gone by. It's episode 325 with the ProSynth Network live show. It is the 26th of June, 2026, and we are here for another couple of hours to ease you into what has been a very sweaty week for us here in Europe. I don't know what it's like around the rest of the world. We'll probably find out as we go through. And I apologize, but I'm sorry. I'm not wearing a full-on T-shirt for a show where I've got no aircon in this room and I've got fans blowing from every angle. I'm sorry, you're just going to have to put up with the added flesh. So I'm sorry, but it's that or I sweat to a pool of water under my chair. And we'll have no comments about the air conditioning in other people's rooms. Anyway, before we move on, we've got a great guest for you this week. We've got a slightly kind of cut down team, which is nice because it's nice and compact. We can just kind of chill and chat and stuff, and I'm feeling a little bit outnumbered, 2-1 Scotland England this week, but we'll more of that later. Before we do anything else, let me remind you that if you haven't already, if you can give us a thumbs up, give us a like during the stream if you're enjoying what you're seeing and hearing, that would be fantastic. If you want to comment during the show, you can do so in the comment services that apply to the streaming platform that you're watching us on. YouTube is the one that most people are on. So you can use the YouTube chat, and you can also comment if you're watching on Facebook and Twitch. All of those will come through. We will see all of those comments. So do make sure that you engage with us. If you haven't already, do please give us a subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really does mean the world to us, and it just helps kind of boost the channel and get us into more people's feeds. So that would be really helpful. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button now. Give us a thumbs up if you want some notifications as well, and that'll tell you whenever we do a show. And of course, if you know people that would appreciate this content, then go and tell them and share the link with them, and just get the word out there, as they say. So there we go. We are a completely community funded channel, so we rely on the generosity of our viewers and supporters to keep us on the air, and we thank you greatly for that. But there are a number of ways that you can do that for us. One of the best ways, I think, is the Patreon service. So if you go to prosynthnetwork.com/Patreon, you can sign up for that for a minimum of $2 a month, and you get loads of free content. You get patches for your synthesizers, both hardware and software. There are decent sampler instruments in there that have been put together by members of our community. There are exclusive video clips, and all the Synthspiration videos are on there as well. All ad free, and you can get access to all of that stuff just by subscribing to Patreon. You can also get all the same content if you're watching on YouTube and you become a YouTube channel member. You get all of the same thing for the same amount of money a month. It's just a minimum $2, and we're able to get the bulk of that donation and put it towards keeping the lights on. Another way you can support us is through our merchandise store, prosynthnetwork.com/merch. You can get lovely vest t-shirts or vest tops, what should I say, for the summer. We do the bikinis for the ladies or the gentlemen. I'm sure the gents can wear the bikini too. We also do these lovely bottles. If you're looking for a cool beverage throughout the day, you put some ice in this and your favorite drink, whatever it might be, and it stays nice and icy cold for hours and hours and hours on end. So very useful for this kind of weather. But there's loads of stuff on there, and again, we get to take a few pennies off the top of every sale. So you can maybe do what they do in the shops nowadays. Go and start buying for your winter outfits. That just helps me feel a little bit cooler, just thinking of snow and ice. You can also come and join us over at our Discord channel, prosynthnetwork.com/Discord, and we are across all the social media, or most of the social media networks. Our handle is @ProSynthNetwork. There you go. If you have a question during the show from either myself or our guests, then you can just preface your question with a big capital Q, stick a question mark on the end, and make sure it goes into our little bucket of questions that we can pull from during the show. And I'm sure you'll probably have lots of questions for us today. So there you go. That's all the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Now we are limited in number today because Kent is not feeling very well. I spoke to him today. He's slowly on the mend. So if Kent is watching, then get well soon, my friend, and hope to see you back soon. Andrew has an event to go to commemorate the life of one of his friends who passed away recently. So he's off there doing that. And I believe Jason is working with family. I can't remember which, but we do have Mr. Scott McAuley.
Oh no!
Oh no! Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You chilly
Another
bastard.
week of decent weather up here. Yeah, it's been good. Mostly doing stuff in the garden. Very little sound design this week.
Yeah.
Testing a few different future VSTs that are supposed to be coming out, which was good to get involved with.
Cool.
Can't say any more than that, but yeah. So there's been a bit of that, and helping another guy with another bit of software that he's developing as well. So, but that's really been minimal compared to the amount of work I've had to do outside this house. But it's been worth it. It's fine to get it done when the good weather's in, if you know. But
Indeed, and playing with the
as you can tell by the suntan.
Well, yeah, the tan lines. Yeah, look at that.
You can tell I've never got my sunglasses off.
I haven't even dared venture outside in this weather. It's because it's just as hot in here as it is out there. So I just don't see the point. But anyway, there you go. Good to see you, mate.
And you.
That brings us to our special guest this week. He's been on the show before. He's a good friend. He's been making some great music, and in fact, he's got a brand new album that's just come out that is superb. We're going to be playing a track from it a little bit later, indeed. Let's bring in the one and only, and this is why you'll see why I'm outnumbered 2-1 here. All the way from Scotland, but living in Canada, it's Mr. Michael Oakley, everyone.
Hey.
How you doing, Michael?
I love that sound effect. Canned applause. I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Good.
Yeah, the weather's been nice here, but not as intense as the United Kingdom. Clearly,
yeah. Well,
but
indeed,
I don't know about if it's the same for you, but I don't really remember there being great summers in the United Kingdom since the 90s.
We used to have a few, but yeah, it's just ridiculous now.
Yeah,
it was a few years ago. We had a heat wave that culminated in like 2 days of plus 40 degrees Celsius. And that was absolutely bonkers. It hasn't been quite as bad. In fact, the June record for I'm going to bore people with weather facts here. The June record for the UK's highest temperature got broken 3 times today, all here in where I live, in and around where I live. All happened in Suffolk. First of all, RAF Wattisham, which is the big Army Air Force base where they have all the Apaches and everything, that recorded 36.9 or something, and then a little bit further down the road 37.1, and then later this afternoon 37 point, ridiculous, stupid, hot, whatever. It's let me just prove something to you, just to say that people, Alexa, what's the temperature in the studio?
Studio temperature is 34.3 degrees.
34.3 degrees in here. Because we here don't have aircon.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
that's
true. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And you see a lot of people who say, "Oh, get used to it." It's we live. Yeah, we don't. We don't have these temperatures. Our houses are built to retain heat.
That is so true, actually, because like when I came over here, aircon was a completely new concept to me, because we have like a 5-month summer in Canada.
Yeah.
But back home, whenever there was like an intense summer, it was a case of just open the windows all day and all night. No such thing as cooling the house down.
No.
Well, I did ask Alexa here, and I sent Rob a video earlier on of when I asked Alexa, and this is what she came back and said. Alexa, what's the temperature?
It's colder than a polar bear's nuts in here.
True.
Sod.
God, I tell you what, I just like, if you imagine like the cost of like having your heating on all winter, imagine the cost of having an aircon for the rest of the time. Yeah. The UK couldn't handle it.
No,
well,
I know.
If it was something, if it was something I could afford, if I didn't live in rented accommodation, I would absolutely, because I've had to turn literally everything off that isn't essential for running the show. Like even my monitor amplifier, which generates a lot of heat, That's off. Everything is off and unplugged and turned off, just to give me a little bit of respite. I can't even open the windows because I don't know. You can't really see. The sun is right there.
You're just letting hot air in.
I know. So yeah, we just kind of have to deal with it. And this weekend, myself and Peter are going to this show in Cambridge. We're going to bring some vintage gear out to show everyone. And I was saying to Scott earlier, it's like an upside down baking tin, this building, and it just gets super hot. And tomorrow's not going to be quite as bad, but it's still going to be plus 31, 32. So I'm not going to be looking forward to that. But, you know, I might sweat some weight off. So that's all good. Anyway,
27's my max.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping that it's going to drop nicely. The other problem is we've got 2 cats that are indoor cats because running at the back of the house is a big, highway. And if we let them out, that's it. They're both black cats. They'll be gone in hours. So we have to keep them indoors. We have a run, but it's still too hot to put them out there. So we have to keep all the doors and windows shut until about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And then we just open everything, put the cats in the run, and just hopefully get some air through. So, yeah, never mind. There you go. I'm sure there are worse things that are happening around the world. We're just complaining about a little bit of heat. Anyway, let's get into it because obviously Michael's here. He's got an album to promote. It's a great album. I thought we might just kick things off. We're going to play a track from the album a little bit later on. Hopefully we won't get our wrist slapped from the copyright owners on this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video, which is the kind of the introduction. It's the pre-launch video. So I'm just going to have to take everybody off screen. I'll run this video and we'll be back right after this.
In a world where generative AI threatens to ruin music, one man has decided not to use it. For the first time in 5 years, New Retro Wave presents Michael Oakley with Prologue, featuring 10 new songs that push synthwave into a new era, coming this spring.
So, as you saw there, it came out about a month ago, so we're about 4 weeks in. How are things going with the album release? Is it all going well?
It's been overwhelmingly great. I mean, I'm surprised that, when you go away for such a long time.
Yeah.
Last time was 5 years ago, I think I was on here.
Yeah, it was,
with my last album. There's a little part of me that thinks, I wonder if people still care. Like, are they still interested?
Yeah,
but yeah, I've been very pleasantly surprised. But
so my first question is, 5 years, where the hell have you been? What have you been doing?
Well, to be honest with you, I actually sort of fell out of love with making music for a while.
Okay.
I didn't do anything for about a year and a half. I came to a certain point where I had done 3 albums in 5 years, which for me is really productive. And then by the end of the last album, I just felt so burnt out, and there was a couple of things at play. I was kind of burnt out from the constant working on songs for over the space of a year and trying to get it finished, and I didn't really enjoy the release of my last album because as soon as I finished the album, I had no time to sort of just forget, not hear it, and just chill out, and then come back and then promote the album. It was non-stop, and I remember sitting thinking, oh, I hate this. I'm never going to let this happen again where it's non-stop, because as much as I love making music, I don't want to hear my songs every day, all day for months and months. That's like torture, like a Chinese torture method. So I had a sort of feeling of I need to take time off, because if I don't, I'm either gonna create really bland, watered down versions of my old music, or I'm just going to hate the whole process and completely just walk away. But I was quite fortunate because around that time, quite a few sound design opportunities and sample pack work kind of came my way. And you know, I love doing that type of work. It's a completely separate thing to like making music. It's like, it's funny because like I get asked about sound design in my own music, but you know, I'll be honest, if I'm writing music, I'm not sound designing. I'm reaching for presets to get me as quickly as possible into the idea, and then we can come back and sound design later. But when I'm sound designing, I don't actually have to think too much about, is this a melody? Is this a riff? Is this going to turn into chords for a song? Like, it allows me to just enjoy it. So I thought, this is a good opportunity for me to take on some projects that I'm not quite familiar with, and learn some like new ways of working and new styles, and then maybe by the end of it, I'll be back in love with wanting to make music again, because I think most of us that make music, if you don't do it, there's a little kind of you should be doing this. What are you doing? That, you know, 6 months has passed. What are you doing? 7 months, 8 months has passed. A year's passed. What are you doing? You should be. And eventually, that voice becomes so loud that you do end up with a kind of, I need to do this, or I'm just, everything else in my life is going to kind of start to become morose and kind of unhappy. So yeah, about 2 years in of sound design and just not doing anything, something clicked, and I had always wanted to bring 90s influences into the synthwave genre, but I didn't quite know how to do it without it just sounding like naff, cheesy dance music. Because I love 90s music, but I don't think it's aged very well. And I don't really like a lot of the production techniques of that time. I love 80s production techniques. So I had this kind of feeling of, well, what if we sort of brought in some of those 90s influences, rompler sounds and things, but brought in the 80s production techniques as well. How would that work? And something clicked, and something made sense, and I was able to sort of do it in a way that works, that doesn't feel too 90s. It doesn't feel too 80s either, but it's kind of got that like modern Venn diagram.
Well, there is a mix, isn't there? There is a kind of a part of the end of the 80s and the early part of the 90s where there is that center part of that Venn diagram where it does the sounds are becoming, you know, much more elaborate and sample based, but the production is still, you know, big drums and all that kind of stuff. And then I think, you know, everything just kind of ran away, and we all, you know, everyone kind of went down the dance music route, you know, the kind of the hardcore stuff, and guitars became, you know, very fashionable again, and then we kind of lost it really for a while. But I noticed in your studio there, I can see an AM1X, I can see a JP8000. So you've got two of the finest 90s synthesizers. And what's that? You got a
JV2080, and believe it or not, the first proper synth that I really learned to create on was a Korg X5D. I've got the X5DR. Just for space purpose, but the X5D,
I've just got the X5D.
I wish Korg would actually release a VST with that AI2 engine.
I mean, you've got the Trinities and the Tritons, haven't you, in the Korg collection? So they've probably got some of those sounds at least in there.
For sure.
It's no, I get what you're saying, because I just recently got an SY99, and it was just playing through those. It was just, it really was a time machine trip back. Because my first kind of proper pro synthesizer was a Roland sound canvas. So much like yourself, it was a half-rat module that was just crammed full of sounds. And I got it because for two reasons. Number one, it had tons of sounds. It was 32-part multi-timbral, I think 64-voice polyphonic. So you could do an entire production with this one module. And Turnkey in London had them on offer at £469.
Turnkey.
What was it?
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Was it the SE35?
No, this was the SC88 VL.
Was it? Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it wasn't the Pro version. It was the thinner version, which was specifically because in their range you had the 55, the 88, and the 88. They did an 88 Pro, which was like a double height, half width unit, and you had some extra buttons to get into the effects and the modulation. But with the VL, I don't know what VL stood for, but it was 1 U rack height. Still had the same engine, all the capabilities. You just had to access them all through CCs and NRPNs, and which is why I bought a shit ton of Twiddly Bits discs. Do you remember those Twiddly Bits? You used to little floppy disk of files that were just basically NRPN files or CC files. So if you wanted a filter sweep, you could play the note, and then you'd overlay this MIDI file on the same track in your DAW, and it would sweep the filter for you. And then you could go in and tweak it. And Dave Spears was behind most of them from GeForce. Wow. He did a lot of the recording, and they used to record guitarists and drummers playing MIDI guitars and playing MIDI drums. And then obviously no sounds. It's all just the MIDI data. So you could have some guy playing authentic kind of drum patterns, but through your sound canvas or your X5. They were very cool things.
See that's good MIDI files.
Absolutely, that's a proper MIDI file pack.
Not like Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, quite. Indeed. Those modules were used a lot in karaoke bars, and the whole MIDI file industry was a massive industry.
What was that one machine? Was it the Sultan? There was Kenton and Sultan machines and stuff like that. Gem.
Just massive sound libraries that all conform to the general MIDI standard, and then you pop a floppy disk in with your MIDI files, and away you go. Wow. It was. We used to use them a little bit. I used to play in a band in the mid '90s, and I got an RM1X, and apart from all the dance sounds, you also had all the XG sounds, which were just like the common or garden, general MIDI stuff. And so we used to get MIDI files and then tweak them and then strip out all the bits we didn't want. So we used to play Supergrass all right. We didn't have a pianist in the band. So we stripped everything out apart from there was a click track and there was the piano's sound. And that was it. It was all just done through MIDI files. It was great. Nobody complained. It was all very good. So what else have you got there? You got an AM1X, you got a JP.
So I've got a JP8000. I've got a Yamaha DX11.
Nice.
And obviously the JV2080 is that. But I mean, to be honest, a lot of these are purely for show. I mean, I have all of the plug-in
you do a lot
versions.
of stuff
but I love being surrounded by this stuff because it kind of reminds me of a certain time in my life, which is that time, the great race for the next best piece of equipment that someone's going to bring out. And it's funny, honestly, like you mentioning Turnkey is hilarious. I'm gonna see if I can find this. I've got it.
Have you still got the Turnkey catalogs? Because they always used to come. Do you remember those, Scott? Sound on Sound. You used to get your latest issue or future music. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
And you open it up, and in the middle there was.
First page I opened.
Look at that! There it is.
Turnkey.
And that's exactly how I got my SC88 from one of those. And I also missed out on I passed over stupidly that Technics WSA1. And nice. Everyone was raving about it, but I looked at the name Technics and thought, that's home organs, don't want that. That's a bit naff. Silly me, but there you go.
Future Music was a great magazine. There's so many like unknown bands that were released on little CDs. The first time I heard Faithless was in the Future Music, the free CD you used to get with it.
I love the demos.
They were so good.
The demos made you feel like I could do that.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's not far off what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, this is
Kind of gave you a boost of confidence in what you were doing
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had a mad moment before we moved home that I just needed to clear. I couldn't move all my junk, and I had a box full of Future Music cover CDs. Do you remember the Mix magazine? I had those as well, a whole bunch of them. And I thought, do I keep them? No. And I pretty much threw all of them. Thankfully, there are people online that have preserved them. But
Yes.
I remember you saying about that kind of feeling like, oh, I can do this. I remember listening to a guy that sent in his submission was like the reader track of the month, and he did everything on a Sound Blaster or 64 sound card, everything, and it sounded incredible. And I'm like, I've got an all 64 card. I could do that. No, I couldn't. But yeah, it gave me the idea that I thought maybe I could, but I clearly lacked the talent. But yeah, it did. They were great things. So 5 years you've been away. You've been doing other things other than making music. You're back, and we'll talk about the new album in just a bit. But during those 5 years, you've been keeping yourself fairly busy with sound design work and stuff. So what have you been designing for, or who have you been designing for?
So within like a sort of quick succession period, I found myself working for Splice, for Reason Studios, for Cherry Audio, for Roland, and it's just that way. Talking about back 30 years ago, like if I was a kid and someone told me you'll be working for all of these companies, I'd be like, F off. No, I won't. But I'm not going to swear, just in case it's a family-friendly show. And every sort of project that I take on is a little bit different. Sometimes it's trance music, sometimes it's Italo disco. So obviously, synthwave is something that I've been asked a lot for, and retro styles, 80s styles, 90s styles, even like melodic techno and kind of more modern type stuff as well, lo-fi type music, which has been good for me. I always think it's really good to challenge yourself. When people talk about comfort zones, people tend to think like Tony Robbins and stuff like that, like self-help gurus. But there is something to be said for if I think I saw David Bowie talk about this, that if you're comfortable in what you're doing, you're not going far enough to challenge yourself to try and do something a little bit left field, and I think that's absolutely true. I think the more comfortable you are, the more bland the thing that you're doing becomes. It becomes safe.
I've got to mention. So I just noticed your microphone setup. Is it on the stone for that? Is that for isolation purposes?
The stone.
No,
that's just to hold it in place, because if I don't, it'll run away.
I thought that's some wicked isolation he's got going on there.
No, but I tell you, I don't know if you can see this.
It's the reflection things that you use. They kind of weigh the stands over, don't they?
That's exactly why. Yeah, the reflection.
So you kind of need to weigh the stand down to keep it in place.
But a little noteworthy thing, though, the 3 albums that are up there. Those 3 albums became a sort of trifecta of reference for me with this new album. I haven't taken them down yet, but New Order Technique, Electronics debut album, and Violator. I felt like no matter where I go with coming up with ideas, that those 3 albums are kind of the ballpark of maybe how far 90s I wanted to go, I suppose, because those are
they're both very early. I mean, Violator was 1990, Electronic was 89, 90?
91, I think.
Oh, was it 91? Jeez. And Technique, that was around the same.
89, 90.
Yeah. I also noticed the...
yes, of course. I've got a few of them. I've got Neil and Chris. I've got Batman. I've got Johnny Silverhand from Cyberpunk, and I've got Crockett and Tubbs over there besides Dawn of the Dead on VHS.
Good stuff. So, you do most of the stuff in the box, so to
Yes.
speak. What are your kind of go-to instruments nowadays?
Well, I record in Ableton,
Okay.
and my main go-to synthesizers that I've been using are, I use VPS Avenger quite a lot. That's become a workhorse for me because I just love how that synthesizer sounds. It's very modern sounding, but it's got a very sort of immediate sort of sound, a little bit like Serum, but more analog sounding because it's kind of sample based.
Yeah.
I love Omnisphere. I love Nexus. Since they opened up the architecture to allow you to kind of edit the presets now, that has changed the whole landscape of that plugin for me, because now I can switch the waveforms to things that I like, and I can add or subtract how I'm wanting it to sound. I also love Spire. Spire's probably been my mainstay across all of my records. I still love Silent.
It's a great plugin, yeah.
Like for bass,
Yeah.
untouchable. For plucks, untouchable. Even like leads and stuff, but I mostly use Silent for bass sounds and pluck sounds, and even if I layer, because I do a lot of layering in my music, I still would always have Silent as the kind of the warm low end analog part of the layer, even if I'm stacking with digital top sounds on top of the bass. That would be like my mini moog part of the layering process. So that's the sort of main synthesizers. I still use UVI Emulation Suite and Emulation 2. I find those I'll never stop using those. I just think they're the best thing that UVI ever did.
Yeah.
For my music. I'm trying to think what other plugins I use for synths. I think that's I mean, I have like the Korg M1 plugin, the Wave Station. The M1 gets used quite a bit. I love Rob Papin stuff as well. I find certainly Predator and Blue. If I use Silent for the bottom kind of part, Rob Papin's Blue I find becomes the top, because that digital sound is really nice. And then when it comes to sort of effects and processing, I guess everybody uses Fab Filter stuff, don't they, I suppose? But I use Native Instruments RAM reverb quite a lot. I use Replica XT. That was the delay of choice. Whereas on previous records, I used Soundtoys Echo Boy. So I kind of switched it to Replica XT. I think that's a better delay for like what I like to do. VSM Vertigo 3 distortion EQ. I love that a lot because it kind of lifts the frequency in a way that sort of saturates it a little bit, which just makes it's just a smoother lift, rather than if I was to use like say before I would have used the Mag 2 or the Mag 4 EQ, and it's nice, that you can lift the frequencies, but there comes a point where it just gets a little kind of there's a little sharpness on lifting that high end that you have to stop, whereas I find when I use the saturation, it just smooths things a little bit more, so you've got a bit more room to kind of lift it in a nicer way. Trying to think what other plugins I use quite a lot, actually.
Are you using Ableton Live as a linear sequencer, or do you use it in the clip form?
No, I use it. I'm kind of old school. I use it multi-track sequencer. I've never, believe it or not, I've never used clip function. It just never really was my sort of thing. I must be sort of sadomasochistic or something. I actually, and one thing I sometimes forget is whenever I'm, say, building a drum track. sometimes I just drop the samples in, like the kick, and copy and paste, and then it becomes a nightmare, because then later, if I want to switch the kick, I'm like, I need to copy and paste all this, and then I remember to drag the MIDI drum sequencer, and then just I have to write in the MIDI and then switch it that way. But like I forget. But yeah, I tell you one thing I do use quite a lot: Wave Alchemy Glow.
Oh yeah,
that is like the best reverb for 80s drums and percussion, and even for like vocals. One technique that I quite liked across this album is I liked to have the kind of Wave Alchemy Glow, which is basically a recreation of the AMS RMX reverb. So I would use the plate reverb from that for my vocal in the verses, and then I would switch in the chorus to like a more lexicon sounding airy Ram reverb or Valhalla. Just to have that airy lift. That's one technique that I quite like to do.
It's funny you should say that, because I picked up a TR-707 last weekend, and I was thinking I really need an AMS RMX type reverb, and I thought there's no way I can actually, the guy I bought it from, bless him, he had got an AMS RMX 16 in his rack.
Wow.
And I said, is that for sale? And he said, yeah, it needs a bit of work. But then he told me how much he would be selling it for, and I was like, okay, maybe I won't be making you an offer on that right now. So I thought, well, I must have. I've got so many reverbs in my collection that there must be something that's doing an RMX 16 reverb. Couldn't find anything until I happened across, I think it was Universal Audio do an official version. But of course, you need the Universal Audio hardware to run that. And then I remembered that there was this thing that came out. It was a much more affordable thing, and it said it was going to be a clone of the RMX 16. And I happened across Wave Alchemy's Glow. I thought, yeah, I remember we covered that on the show. So I went to their website, and as luck would have it, they've got a sale on at the moment. And I thought I was actually going to plug this, and you've led into this perfectly. It's almost like we set this up and then guarantee we didn't. You can pick up Glow for £19.
Steal. Absolute steal.
You get all four of these reverbs. So you get Glow, which is an emulation of the RMX 16. You get Dawn, which is an emulation of the EMT 250. And then you've got Pulse and Radiance, which I can't remember what their clone is.
Pulse is the lexicon, the kind of the gritty 12-bit.
That's the one, yeah. And then this other one, Radiance, is the EMT 140 plate reverb, isn't it? So you've got all four of these for just £59, and I thought that's an amazing deal, so I bought them. And as you say, you put non-linear 2 straight away from and you're there. It's 1983, and you've got these amazing drum sounds, and as you say, you can use it on loads of other things as well.
I'll just come out and say it. Like, I think that the Wave Alchemy plugin is better than the UAD one. I think they've got more features. I think there's also the modern button. Little button, and when you switch that, it's such a subtle shift, but it just completely diffuses and makes it feel a little bit more kind of present and in a nice way. But like the features that are on there, to edit it, and also the presets that you get with it just for $20.
I know, it's ridiculous. I just thought I'm never gonna. This just happened to happen at the right time. And there it was. I thought, well, if I'm going to pay 19 for one, I might as well pay 59 for all four. And
Pulse is nice.
Yeah, I've only been playing around with Glow because I only bought them, was it yesterday or the day before, and it's just been too hot to do anything else. But I did start feeding some Lindrum sounds, the Ali James Lab plugin. I started feeding that through Glow, and it just sounded amazing. The
presets are so on the money.
Yeah.
You know, even
It's
if
great,
you hit drums, and then you've got drum room 1, 2, 3, and
yeah.
like they are exactly enough where you can quickly tweak it, and it'll be exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a desert island plugin for me.
That's a good one.
I definitely would not give that plugin up. You
Yeah.
know, if you
Yeah,
force
absolutely
me.
right. Absolutely right. Let's play a quick demo of that for you. There you go. And there's even a free demo of it as well. So if you're not sure, go and download the demo and away you go. But for £59 for that whole suite of stuff is very, very good. Let's just bring these in. James Terrace, who of course was on the show last week with his colleagues from Cherry Audio, has just become a YouTube member, and he's so happy that he then gifted 10 ProSynth Network memberships to 10 other people in the chat. So congratulations and thank you very much indeed, James, for that generous offer there. And of course, Matt Evans is in the chat as well. Time to chill. Yeah, right. Still 31 degrees outside here at the moment.
Nice one, Matt.
Probably the same in here. But thank you for that. Sean in the chat wants to know, is the album 100% software synthesizer?
It's about 99%.
Okay.
I think if I remember correctly, there was a couple of tracks where on one of them I used the Roland JX08, the boutique module. And then on one other track I used, at the time I had a Korg DW8000, which I don't have anymore, but I used that on one of the songs.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm pretty much exclusively plugins, to be honest with you.
What would make you turn around and say, no, I'm putting the AM1X on? Or you know, what would make you go for a hardware synth above a software synth?
I don't think I would, because here's the thing, right? When like I have a nostalgia that we talked about earlier with hardware, and talking about turnkey, I bought an Akai S2000 sampler from Turnkey in the late 90s. I had a studio full of stuff. I had a Juno 106. I had a Korg XP80 with all of the SR boards. I had Novation KS rack. I had you name it. I had all of this little workable sort of hardware studio. But when I walked into that studio to start work, I had to spend the best part of 20 minutes powering them on, loading the SCSI drive disc, making sure the MIDI channels were all in sync, making sure that the track played correctly, going to the mixing desk and making sure all the levels were right and that the effects were spot on, because that's the other thing. You turn off, I had like a Zoom 1201 multi-effects unit that was running a reverb. I had to basically make sure that was okay. And by the time I was ready to start working, I was a little bit like
you lost the inspiration.
And I've never forgot that, because I remember when I got a laptop and I started using Reason, that the whole idea of total recall of saving your session, going away, and then loading that session, and it's exactly how you left it. That to me was like the best thing, and I would never trade that for like to go back to hardware, no matter how nostalgic I get, because I genuinely don't believe like there was a period, I think, from about 2000 I guess, until 2014, 2015, So literally 10 years ago, where I didn't think that plugins were better than hardware, but now I think that plugins have reached that level where if you play Omnisphere, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
It's negligible, and even if you can, in the context of a mix of a track, you're not going to tell. I don't believe that you can, and nor would anyone who's a listener really care, other than nerds like me.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think you're right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
it
becomes a point where it becomes practical application, and I mean there is a little part of me that wonders. I wonder if I should do an album that's just all hardware.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Isn't it?
It's a challenge, but I can already feel the inside me a resistance to
anxiety.
it, and also, you know, I can imagine finishing the album, being driven mad by all sorts of issues, and then telling my public, "Hey guys, I did this whole album on hardware," and then it's like. We don't care.
Yeah.
Like we really don't care. All we care about is if it sounds good or not.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about the actual album itself now. But before we do, why don't we play the brand new single off of the album? So before we do, just tell us a little bit about this track, because this is you and Missing Words.
Yeah, my good friend James Mees, Missing Words. He's one of my best friends, and just a little quick story, I suppose. When I first went to Los Angeles to work on my first album, James had very kindly sort of offered to let me stay with him and his wife, and so that I could work on my music. And one of the songs that was on that album was a track with him. So yeah, I was really happy that we could do another track together.
Excellent stuff. Well, this is from the brand new album called Prologue. This track is called Memory of You.
At this bar alone, glass in hand, the night grows cold. The jukebox is playing in your eyes. I can feel my heart beat fast, shadows moving from the past around me, like creatures of the night. Behind 1,000 lies that I see through your sweet disguise. It's over, no room for second chances, because I'm nobody's fool. Send the love that won't be cruel to this heart of mine, breaking these chains. I'm not caught in the headlights.
There we go. Well done. That's a cracker, isn't it? I think that deserves some canned applause.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe even
that was fun to make.
There you
Honestly,
I bet. Yeah.
I went in March and sort of went to Los Angeles and worked with my guy Brad and his wife Holly, and Brad has done all of my music videos since I started. So yeah, it was sort of fun staying for 2 weeks and having to film 3 music videos, you know, spread across different days of shooting and stuff like that, you know.
Because in the last
video, the track itself so well produced as well. It's a very well produced track. So
thank you.
Well done with that.
It's my Eurodance sort of sensibilities coming out, because I love that type of music, you know. When someone like when I say in 90s music that is my influences, I really mean Eurodance. You know, Hadaway, Corona, Too Unlimited, like that is my like when I was at high school, that was the chart music of the time, and it stayed with me. You know, I remember listening to Bruno Brooks on a Sunday, and you know that was the music that would be playing at the time. You know. So I felt like it was time to do something very Euro sounding, you know.
Was that a Yamaha DD75, the drum thing with the kind of the raised pads on it that the guy was playing?
Oh, yes, actually, yeah.
I remember, we used to sell. I used to work at Argos years and years ago. We used to sell those in Argos, and I always remember thinking they look really cool. And now they're just like maybe not so much.
I got that specifically for that.
Really,
video. Like literally, it was one of the things when I was talking to Brad about like ideas for like mood board stuff. I said,
yeah,
like because we initially had talked about the potentially having like a real drummer, and I said. It doesn't feel right for this track. Like, I think if we're going to do that, I think I would rather we have like a really cool old school looking Yamaha drum pad thing, because it feels more congruent with the music.
Yeah. I used to hate that on Top of the Pops when you'd get bands that clearly everything was a synthesizer, yet there's some dude with a guitar.
Yeah,
come on, there's no guitar in this track.
It's just done.
But it's got to be the guitar with no jack to jack cable plugged in as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And why did we always play a D50 or a Korg M1? Is that the only synth that they had on Top of the Pops?
Pretty much. There's probably a room. Well, the guy that I do Fairlight stuff with, he used to have a company that hired out instruments to Top of the Pops, like Fairlights and DX7s. And I mean, sure, there was a cupboard full of just old dead DX7s, D50s. And every time we watch, we get into the end of the night and there's not a lot on TV, so you flick through the channels and you end up with a retro Top of the Pops thing on there. My missus now goes, oh look, there's a DX7. Oh look, there's a. She now knows all these old synths. Yeah, crazy stuff. Great video though. The previous video, the opening single from the album had you. It was a little bit kinky with the old. Hello, I thought Michael's going on one here.
I call it dark and mysterious, but others call it sleazy.
Yeah.
You can go wherever you want with it. But yeah, like that. Honestly, I think that that music video is probably the music video I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Because it was just a complete. Because I wanted to do something that had a little bit more of a kind of cinematic narrative to it, but it's very difficult to do that without it becoming like a vanity project that people are like, what the hell is this crap? Like, what are you doing? And so it was kind of figuring out, how do we do this that works, that doesn't, and I tell you, this is probably a good example, is when one of my friends actually who's in that video, Guy FJ, he said to me, the last thing you want, because we were having conversations about how do we do something that's a bit more of a narrative based mini movie, and one of the things that came up was he said, have you ever seen that music video Phil Collins, Don't Lose My Number? And I said, I think so, but I'm going to go and watch it now. So I went and watched it. It's the video where he meets the pretend director and they talk about video ideas. And at 1 minute he's Clint Eastwood in a cowboy movie.
That's it.
The next one he's playing some other role, like a cop or something. And what FJ said to me was, see, about a minute into that video, did you stop listening to the song? And I said, yeah, I completely forgot all about the song because the video was so foreboding, it was overpowering, that I actually lost interest in the music. And he said, that's the last thing you want. You need to make sure that it works with the music and doesn't distract people away from it. So we managed to sort of come up with the concept of sort of Terminator, tech noir sort of scene. And then I always was fascinated, you know, that movie Ronin with Jean Russo and Robert De Niro. Well, there's this whole idea of this briefcase, and they're chasing after this briefcase. There's like a massive car chase all across Paris for this briefcase, and then you never find out what's in the briefcase. It was just this MacGuffin. It was this thing that was so important, and then at the end there's nothing in it. It's like, what the hell is this about? And I thought, that's fun. Let's do that. Let's incorporate a bit of that into this as well.
Oh, there was a trend, wasn't there, with some acts where I think they wanted to do a music video that was, as you say, had more of a kind of a theme and a story to it, but it's difficult to kind of squish that into 3.5-4 minutes. And so there were some acts, I've been trying to think of one or two that did it, but it was almost like all the songs that they released off the album, all the videos could be played in sequence, because there was a kind of a little segue between the end of one and the beginning of another, and it would go off, and then they'd go off and do its own thing. But there was always this kind of link. I think that's a clever way of linking the songs on an album together in some sort of concept fashion, but also making the whole video seem a little bit more interesting, because you might want to watch them all because there's a kind of a link going on in there. And I always think the worst cop-out videos are the ones where, if it's what's the one? To Live and Die in LA, which is one of my favorite films, one of my all-time favorite soundtracks, but the video is just clips from the film and then the guys in the studio pretending to write and perform the song to the film. And I'm like, geez, we know this isn't real, you know. And it's such a good album, and it's also, the film is getting another 4K reissue, I think. Wow. And the soundtrack is being expanded and reissued later this year. So it's
I don't think my eyes have it in them to take in 4K anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I'm now wearing glasses. It's wasted on me.
I got a big 4K, a new 4K, because I was early adopter with UHD. But my UHD TV was lacking HDR, and because it was one of the very first ones. And then I got a Sony earlier, back in the last year, 4K, all this gubbins on it, and honestly, it just smacks you in the face. It's it's an experience and a half. Anyway,
I do agree with that. I have seen remaster 4K stuff, and I have been like, you see things that the distortion grain in the original made it such that you couldn't see it, you know. That's it.
It's like remastering an album, isn't it? Sometimes if it's done well, it really brings everything to life. I remember listening to the Depeche Mode when Depeche Mode did their first 10 albums in 5.1. Listening to those, I was hearing elements that had been previously kind of just mushed into stereo. Yeah. And now I can hear these independent little parts that have just been moved. They're not like all the way over in the corner somewhere, but they're given room to breathe, and you can hear that stuff going on. And it's just, well, I'd say it's eye-opening. It's more ear-opening, I suppose, if you're listening to it. But, it's when it's done well, it's brilliant. When it's done badly, it kind of makes it even worse. But
do you ever remember when Pink Floyd did that Momentary Lapse of Reason album, and then they ended up remixing the album because they forever hated the amount of over reverbed 80s production. And when you hear the two like side by side, actually, you can hear there's more clarity.
Yeah.
You know,
It's what's the Beatles? So Let It Be was produced by Phil Spector, wasn't it? And Paul never ever liked it.
Hated
And
it.
long after John had passed on, he did Let It Be, and they called it Let It Be Naked, and it was just like
yes.
the album, but with that all of that, you know, Phil Spector thing going on. Completely different album. You know, I mean, obviously the songs are the same, but it just really it was night and day. Night and day.
I just love, right? Remember the first ever like Beatles stereo mixes, and it's like bass left, drums right, vocals left, guitar right.
The joys of working with 4-track.
Yes.
I bought Revolver on vinyl when I was about 10 or 11.
Wow.
And I remember getting home and sticking it on, and I sat in the middle of thinking, those vocals are really over there, and those drums are really, why isn't everything sort of nicely blended? And it was Beatles. They, as soon as they finished the mono mix, they left the building and left the stereo mixes. Obviously the first 5 or 6 albums weren't, but after that they just weren't interested. They got the mono mix down. That was all they were interested in. Now of course you can buy half their albums in 5.1 or Dolby Atmos, and they sound incredible when it's done by, you know, somebody with a sympathetic ear. So tell us about Prologue. What was the story behind writing it and coming up with, you know, this album? Is there a concept behind it, or is it just a collection of 10 really good tracks?
Well, the reason why I called it Prologue is that when eventually I sort of came back to sort of falling in love with making music, I genuinely felt like it was like I had to start over, because I had to remind myself why I was doing it. I mean, I do sound design work, I do sample pack work, and I enjoy doing it, but I do it for money. Right? It's like my job, I suppose. I treat it like a job, because most of the time I'm being handed a concept, and I have just simply to execute the vision that they are sort of asking of me. Whereas when it's my music, I never think of it as like something that I make money from or anything like that. It's a hobby that I love doing. And the moment that it doesn't feel like a hobby, I would stop doing it. I wouldn't do it, because it's just, what's the point? And so I kind of came back round to that, and I thought Prologue feels like the right title, because I'm having to start over again with and never forget why I'm doing this in the first place, you know, and that I'm doing it for the love of doing it. And you know, I obviously know that there's a lot of conversations about how musicians are being marginalized by AI and all that sort of stuff, and I try not to let it bother me, because whether all that stuff is going on or not, which it clearly is, it's not going to stop me from making music the way I make music, which is in here, hard graft, and you know, coming up with ideas and recording it and getting other people involved, like across the album. I've got a real wonderful cast of people that I got to be involved with this record, and that the collaboration that comes with working with people is just wonderful. You know, they're all the same people that I've worked with on my previous albums, but the difference is I've been away for 5 years, but they've also been away for 5 years and doing whatever they're doing. So when they come back and they get involved with me, you know, they've grown, and they bring a whole fresh new thing that they've been involved with to my project, because, you know, they're not just the same people they were back then. They've obviously developed and refined their sensibilities and what they listen to, maybe how they sing or write or play, and they're bringing that into my world. So yeah, certainly the title Prologue was definitely on the nose about the fact that, remember why you're doing this. Let's go back to the start, and let's make this an album full of all of the things that I love, which is kind of how I approach that with all of my albums. But it's finding something that clicks, and I think that's it. You know, for me, 90s influences had always been a little thing tapping my shoulder saying, hey, let's do this. And I sort of pushed back because I didn't feel like the timing was right. I wasn't sure that synthwave audience was ready for that because they're so attached to the 80s as a cornerstone of the genre. But I like the challenge of I'm gonna figure out how to do this. And it kept on bugging me, and then just eventually something clicked. And when that final thing clicked, that's when I started to become really prolific with writing and coming up with ideas for the album. And it probably took me about 2.5 years to sort of write and develop. Once I got off the ground running.
So aiming for that 90s sound again, Michael, did you get, I know you worked in the past with John Campbell from TTF.
John's a really great friend of mine, actually.
Yeah. So did you get him involved in this album again to bring some 90s sort of feel into that, or no? Was this just purely people that you know over there? Or?
Yeah, I mean, in so much that I would send him my demos. So he was one of, like, I send my demos to a few people, and John is one of the few that I send to, because John actually, he would be a great guest on this show, actually.
He would be, yeah.
I'll arrange that. I'll see if I can arrange that. But John, like when John gives me feedback, he's very on the money about that feedback. Like I know a few people that if I send them demos, they'll say, "Oh, this is great stuff, man." But then that's it.
Yeah,
they're not very
like constructive in there.
Yeah, they're not constructive or able to disassemble the production or the writing or particular sounds, or if something's missing. Whereas one of the reasons I love sending the demos to John is because John will always find the weakness, and he'll say, you need to change that bass sound because that bass sound is not hitting. You need something more like this, and he'll make a suggestion, and he's pretty much always right. Or he'll say something's not hitting in the chorus quite like the way it should. Like there's something missing that's not selling that hook, because John actually loves all the music we love. He loves Ultravox and Mesh and a lot of 80s synth pop stuff, Gary Newman. Like, so a lot of what he loves is songwriting that is dressed up in synths. So, he's very good at being able to sort of come at it from like a sort of songwriting perspective and say, that isn't the hook in the chorus is not hitting the way that you need it to, and you got to change that melody to something that's a little bit different in order to make it really pop. He's one of the best people that I ask for feedback, actually, because it's I don't know if I would say it's tough love, but it's the way I always describe it is, when I was a kid, if I wanted to be told how great I was, I would go to my mum, because my mum would say, "Oh, you're so great, Michael. You're wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. That's so great." But if I genuinely wanted to get better, and I felt like there was something deficient in what I was doing, I would go to my dad, because my dad was the tough love guy that would say, "You're not singing that right. You're not singing that right. Like you need to do it like this." And I wouldn't like it, but the truth hurts, because when someone sort of brings to light the insecurity that you sort of have about something, that's when I need to fix this.
Yeah,
this isn't right. And it's why I do work with a few people that I trust, like Ollie Ride. Ollie Ride is one hell of a songwriter, and every time I send him anything that I'm working on and trying to do, I know that he's the guy that's going to say, "I hear this slightly differently. let me come back to you with a slightly variation of the melody or the lyrics or something. I'm going to go away and give you something better. And some people, I think, would feel encroached, like, well, what about me and what I'm trying to do? Is this going to sort of steal my identity? Not at all. I mean, if someone can say something that you're trying to say a little bit more articulate, always go with it, because at the end of the day, it's how it connects with the listener, and that's more important to me. So yeah, I've got John Campbell, got Ollie Ride, and a load of other people. John Conco, he's involved with the mixing of this record, and he's mixed all my music actually. And I let him in a much more, maybe more creative level than maybe other people would let him involved with. But John's a fantastic producer, so he likes a lot of the same music that I like. So, like his sensibilities for melodies and synthesizer sounds are quite similar. So there's that. But yeah, John Campbell would be a fantastic guest on here.
Yeah, we'll have to sort that one out. If you want to order the album, by the way, let's just make sure that people know where to go. newretrowave.bandcamp.com. This has got all the versions. So you've got digital album, you've got vinyl. There is also CD. There's a cassette. There's also mini disc. Yeah, very, very happy to see that in there. I still proudly have a mini disc collection and a player, actually a recorder still. So yeah, you can get mini disc versions and CDs and vinyl. If you're in Europe, by the way, then you can order through HHV, which is in Germany.
Yes.
Let's just bring that page up.
That'll save you on shipping.
It will, yeah, because it's crazy, isn't it? So there you go. You can get the blue vinyl edition for €29.99. That's the vinyl ships in November, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because of all the the foibles of pressing vinyl these days.
And it'll save you hopefully on the excise and duty.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Which is a nightmare. I mean, as soon as you get the vinyl, you're paying exactly the same amount for the duty. It's nuts.
Yeah, I bought the last I Speak Machine release, and what they do is they've got a guy in the UK. They just basically send one box. So they get all the orders in and they send this one box to this guy in the UK, and then he does all the distribution, just simply to get around all the crazy taxes and everything. So yeah, but yeah, if you're in Europe, UK, or maybe anywhere outside of America, obviously your territories better than we do. You can get that over at HHV, which is the German website, or you can do it all through Bandcamp, and of course Michael's back catalogue is all available there as well. So plenty of places to pick that up. Let's have a look at the time. So we've got about 40 minutes to go. Because you were on, Michael, and because of the kind of music you make, our very own Scott McAuley here, fellow Scott, fellow sound designer, fellow musician, very talented fellow, he said, why don't you play one of these? And he sent us in one of his tracks. So shall we have it? I don't think we've ever played one of Scott's tracks on the show before.
Don't think so, no.
No, so let's have a
I don't think anyone's ever heard this apart from me and McCarr, to be honest.
Well, do you want to give it an introduction?
There's no introduction for it. It was basically just, it was one where I thought I'm going to give Retrowave a bit of a try, and it kind of went on a little bit of a tangent. But I thought, oh well, if Michael's on tonight, I'll send this to Rob and see if he wants to play it.
Yeah.
But,
I'm game. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, as he said. The track's called "You Go." This is Scott McAuley. Oi, oi, Scotty boy, that's a bit of a banger.
Oi, oi.
There you
A
go.
bit of a banger.
Dark horse.
Nay.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
That's
I'll
good. I
get my
enjoyed
coat.
that. That was very good.
I love like the kind of slow moving sync sounds that were going on in the background. I love stuff like that.
I love
Textural.
syncs. Yeah, I do love sync sounds.
Great for washing your hands in.
What is like some of the synths that you like to sort of use?
In that one, I used quite a lot of the OB6.
I would love one of those.
Amazing synth. It's probably one of my favourites, to be honest. Like the bass sound and the sync sounds were from the OB6. I think I used the Pro 3 in that as well. I use very little software. It's mostly hardware. And the thing I like with hardware is I went from hardware into the box, and then I went from back being in the box to hardware again. And then what I found, it was a friend of mine said, what you need to do, Scott, is commit to audio, and then you don't have all this, well, I'm going to go in and tweak this, because it actually doesn't need tweaked. It's fine. It's just your brain thinks, well, I can tweak that, so I will.
Yeah,
So once you've committed, it's like old school way of kind of recording. And that's generally how I write now, is I just find a part, do the sound design for the sound. So it's completely different from you, because I'll do the sound design as I write a track, and then commit to audio and then go that way. And then sometimes if I'm thinking, nah, that's not working, I'll go back and I'll re-record something else and sound design another sound for that part. I'll always keep the MIDI, but the actual audio itself, I just hardware commit. And then you don't have that, I need to recall all the sounds every time you go back to the track. It's actually pre-recorded, but it's just a different workflow.
I find it very difficult because I grew up with recording MIDI. So I do everything, even if it's a soft synth, everything is, I record all the MIDI and get it right there. I very rarely bounce it to audio and leave it there, because probably for that reason, I think I might need to just go in and mess around with it. And maybe that's one of my problems is that but that's just how I always used to record stuff, and still to this day, it's always record the MIDI, and the only time I actually drop it out to audio is at the end, and I spit it out as a
you can end up in kind of it's like an endless cycle of tweaking, that something that actually you're thinking it needs tweaked, but it's because you've heard it over and over again, you kind of talk yourself into that's not sounding right anymore. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. And it was it was my friend Mike that said, commit to audio. It's the best thing you can ever do, is commit to audio, because then it takes that temptation to tweak the sound away. Then you focus on the next part,
I used to be bad for that neurosis of wanting to continually like tweak and do things, and forgetting that sometimes you feel a certain way one day, and then if you go back a week later, you hear it, because you don't feel the same way about it, you're tempted to want to change the landscape, and it's like, no, that's not the problem. I'm the problem. But I think the best piece of advice I ever got was, once I would get to the end stage of a kind of track, and it's that last hurdle of committing to, say, pre-master and whatnot. And the piece of advice I got was, if what you're about to do doesn't benefit the listener in any way, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, like, no one is going to say, oh my God, did you actually pan that piano part left 20 instead of 25? Like, as if anyone is going to care.
Yeah, or did you remove 1K from the top of that hi-hat?
Yeah, I can hear it. But it's that, it's the splitting hairs thing. And,
absolutely.
I remember having a conversation with Ulrich Schnaus outside a gig one time, and he's one of my absolute heroes. And he said to me the same thing. He said, there comes a point where it'll drive you demented if you don't stop and say, is the listener getting anything out of this?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No?
No, good advice.
Unless it's something you really can't live with and you have to. I think on this album, I only had one issue where I went back and I had one of the tracks completely final mixed and mastered, and I went on holiday and I bought a new pair of Bose Quiet Comfort headphones, and I was on the plane listening to some of the mixes, the masters, sorry, and I listened to the master, and the snare drum didn't sound right on these headphones, and I thought, is that me? And it was like a sharpness, like a kind of
Yeah.
and I thought, I need to check this on James from Missing Words system. So I went to his house and I said, listen, can I play you something? I'm not going to tell you what it is. Can you just listen to this and see if you hear anything that stands out to you? And I played him it, and he said, that snare drum's a little harsh, isn't it? And I had to go back, and I went into the mix, and I had to literally go in and roll off the top on some of the layers, because the snare drum was a few layers. And
right, okay.
And what happens, if you've got something that's got that white noise kind of top, it's fine on one layer, but if you stack the layers, the white noise
builds
starts
up and builds up.
Yeah, and you have to like roll it off. But it was a blessing in disguise, because I actually went in and added another little layer to the snare that I felt was going to work in the chorus, like a kind of modular sort of kind of sound.
Yeah.
And it's in World of Promises, and when you hear the chorus now, the snare drum in the verse versus the chorus, you can hear in the chorus now there's like more of that kind of squelchy like modular resonant sound top that I've added, and it makes the difference. I'm glad that happened, but it's a horrible feeling because you've paid for the mastering, and it's like, I need to go and get this done all over again. Is it going to sound as good as the last time?
Well,
was it only the one track? It was only on the one track.
It was just on one song. That was the only one that I felt kind of like, oh, I can't live with this. And I went back and fixed it, and I was glad that I was. But I think this is the only album that I've done that when I listen to it, I don't hear anything that bothers me. Whereas I'll listen to all of my previous music and I hear things, I think,
it's amazing, isn't it? Because it's like, why did I not notice that at the time? But then you do once you go back, and that is that whole hearing it over and over again. So you just become ear blind.
but also, you develop and you sort of, your sensibilities become more refined. And to be honest, a lot of it is sound choices. I think, if I could go back, I would use different drum sounds, because these drum sounds are a little, I don't know, they're nice, but I feel like I could have given them a bit more weight and punch probably. But then again, it works, and so the
production sounds great. That album sounds fantastic. It really does. The production side of it sounds
I'm definitely the most proud of it. I think all of my albums,
you should be.
Hit a kind of level that I'm sort of surprised. But I also think that that's probably because I didn't box myself into like, I need to do this within 1 year, like I did my previous album. Like, I'm going to take 1 year, finish a whole album, and just keep working on it. This time around, there was months in between songs, because I just thought, I'm only working on this when I feel like it. And I took all of the advice that I got from trusted people, John Campbell, my friend FJ, John Kunkel, and they all gave me great advice. And Ollie
Which also keeps your ears fresh as well, Michael.
Keeps it fresh.
Your ears fresh, yeah.
Keeps it fresh, and also from time to time throws you a curveball, and makes you think, maybe I should build this from the ground up again and start over. So like one of the songs, School, that's on the album, the version that is on the album was not the original demo. When I sort of started making some ideas for new music, School and Use Your Illusion was the first two tracks that I was working on. Use Your Illusions, that made its way onto the album at the very end, and it sounds a lot more like my previous album, Odyssey, because it was done probably around about the time of those sessions, and I forgot about it, and then came back to it later. But School sounded so much different, and so much so I've included the demo version on as a B-side of the next single for Falling Skyward that comes out, because I love the demo, but it just does not work on the album. It doesn't sound like it belongs on the album, but I liked it as a sort of point of reference to say sometimes you can really do something that sounds completely left field, but I managed to extract the song from the bottle and then take the song and remix and rework it essentially to sound more in line with when the whole thing clicked and I knew what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. I'm sat here feeling a little bit left out, because we've heard a song from Michael, and we've heard a piece from Scott. So shall I be utterly self-indulgent?
Go for it.
And play a synthwave track I put out a couple of years ago.
Go for it.
Actually, it's probably a few more years than that. Jeez. This is scary stuff. Here you go. I did this under the moniker of the Waveform Supervisor, which is the name of a card within a Fairlight. And handles the waveforms. And I couldn't think of anything more ingenious than that. So have a listen to this and see what you think.
Felt like I was in a Miami Vice episode.
Yeah, I was going to turn up with a white suit on there, but I don't look like Don Johnson, so I didn't bother.
John Donson.
John Donson. I'm sure I went to school with a guy called John Donson.
Did you
That was really good, Rob. Really good.
Did you like the little 80s ident at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was the track, and I thought, no, surely not.
No. That was
Thomas Michael Phillips.
Yeah, me and my friend Mickey in Ireland. I think Mickey came up with the ident, and then we just overlaid it with some wacky, retro wave visuals and a Fairlight screen because there you go. But yeah, that was, I can't remember what I used on that. There was DX7, or was it DX5? Obviously, there's some Fairlight stuff going on in there as well, and the guitar bit.
Bass line was lovely. The bass line was really nice.
What? That was the Poly 6.
Was it?
Do you remember I said the other week that there was that one sound on the Poly 6 plugin? It's like the first. I think it's called.
It was your go-to for ages, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it. And then the guitars. I wish I could say that was me on guitar, but it wasn't. That was a Rob Pappen plugin called RG, which is like a rhythm guitar thing. And I was just playing around with that one day and came up with a riff. And I thought, that's a bit Nile Rodgers-y kind of, chicka, chicka, chicka sort of thing. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Very, very good. The chord progression in it was really nice as well. I like that. Very, very 80s.
Well, yeah.
Impressed.
The idea behind the song was a friend of mine flew over from Brazil to see a band, and they'd got tickets and everything, and they got to the airport and they wouldn't let them in, and they had to spend, I don't know how long, like a couple of days in the airport before they deported them back to Brazil, because even though the band, it was level 42, was saying no, they've come over to see us, even though they got the back, they sent them back. And so that was why the references are all the airplanes, and I just thought it was kind of like a melancholy kind of thing. So that's where I got the inspiration from that. Anyway,
I thought that was you jet setting out of your sauna studio.
Yeah, right. Chance would be a fine thing. Right, let's. What are we doing here? So yeah, as we've said before, if you want to buy Michael's album, it's over on the new Retro Wave Bandcamp site, which is right. There it is. You can download it for $10. There's also vinyl, cassettes, mini discs, and CDs. It's all there. So go and fill your boots. There's 10 tracks. I know people have been buying the album whilst we've been watching the show. So that's really good stuff. Hopefully that will grease the wheels. Don't know why that's come up. Grease the wheels when the guys at New Retro Wave decide not to put a copyright claim on our video. Showed Michael's song. We're all doing it for the promotion. There really isn't a lot of news this week. I thought maybe we could squeeze a few news topics in, but there really isn't that much to talk about. I tell you what
there's to talk about.
Go on then.
The Cherry Audio and Sonic.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we talked about that all week, all day last Friday.
That is incredible, isn't it?
It's a really good. I mean, it's gone down an absolute storm. Lots of people getting into that, and of course, they announced on the show last week that if you buy the ESQ1 plugin, you'll automatically get the what they call Voice 80 banks, which is 880 original presets that came out around the time of the original ESQ1. I think each cartridge had 80 sounds on, and they were about $80 or something to buy. You can now get all of those sounds free of charge. So yeah, it's cool stuff. There's lots of people been posting stories around saying, I used to have this and it broke, or it's just, it's been sat in the garage gathering dust, and now I've got the Cherry Audio version. It's brilliant because it's all, in the box and doesn't break down. So it's are you a fan of the Ensoniq ESQ1?
Yeah, the only other thing that I'd ever seen that ever came out was the UVI one, but obviously that was more of a rompler where you're sort of stuck with the presets they give you. Whereas with the Cherry Audio, it's like a 1-for-1. You literally can make any sound that you could make on the original.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, James Terrace is a fantastic sound designer, and he's literally giving you an absolute modernized library with it, you know, which that's the thing I always say to people that are, you know, looking at Cherry Audio plugins. You know, worst case scenario, you get an absolutely incredible sound bank of sounds, and you get a fully workable synthesizer to go with it. Like, it's nuts. You know, so my one wish is that now we'll get the Ensoniq VFX, TS10 and the MR rack, please.
There's some good stuff to be mined from the Ensoniq days.
And Ensoniq is like one of the most beloved brands. Like, all of my friends that like are musicians that own hardware, Ensoniq is like the beloved, you know, brand that everybody loves. They all, no one I know doesn't love Ensoniq. They all speak highly, whether it's the sound modules, the synths, or whether it's even, you know, the sampler, the vintage legendary sampler with the library.
I mean, we were saying this last week, that I think every musician, particularly of our age, of our vintage, has got an Ensoniq piece of equipment that's been in their life. Maybe they've not owned it, but they've been in a band that somebody, you know, that they've got an Ensoniq, that it permeated because of the fact that they were affordable, but they weren't cheap, but they weren't ridiculously expensive, and you got some really cool ways of doing stuff.
Unique. I mean, I can relate to that because when I was a kid, if I had a synthesizer, so if I had like a Yamaha SY85, if I wanted to get something else, I had to go into the local ad trader and sell or swap the SY85 to get the money to be able to get something different, because I was just a kid. I didn't have any money. And the one synthesizer that I regretted letting go of was the Ensoniq SD1, which is the VFX SD. I always regretted it, and I always remembered how fondly the memories I had of that keyboard were. Sounds are just amazing.
Yeah. For me, it was the Mirage. I played in a band, and the guy had a Mirage, and you know, the fun we had playing. We didn't know that it didn't sound as good as other samplers. It was the fact that we could sample, and we could play back samples. It was mind blowing, you know, for us at the time, you know, of little money and little talent probably as well. But you know, we just had this amazing thing that was very cool. Yes, some very good stuff, and hopefully we'll have those guys back on again fairly soon, because they seem to be coming quite thick and fast with their releases. So very excited to see what they're going to bring next. There was a new reverb announced today. We've spoken about a lot of reverbs today, but this was new from Arturia. Nice, short and sweet little advert there. This is Rev Ocean Tidal Reverb, Submerge Your Sound. Wow. Instantly rewarding reverb powered by pristine FDN processing, multi-stage diffusion, and deep modulation. I've only had a little time to kind of play around with this, but it does sound very, very nice. It's I
love the language. It's instantly rewarding.
Yeah, it's such a simple interface. You know, we've talked about, you know, things just being dead simple, like, you know, we're talking about Glow, nice, simple, straightforward interfaces. You know, you can get into some stuff here, but yeah, I kind of like it. It's a nice little thing. It's only €49. You can get a free demo of it, and I'm sure it will become already is part of FX Collection Pro, which is the big bundle of all their effects. They do some amazing effects, I have to say. And I didn't really understand what FDN was until I did a bit of Googling, and I've now forgotten what it's something delay matrix. No, network. Something. I don't know. So I'm sure there's some clever people in the chat will tell me exactly what it is and how it does what it does. But it's it's a very nice little thing. But there's not a lot else to talk about new thing wise. But I will give this a mention because if I'm going to get up early tomorrow morning and sweat it out at the Computer Museum in Cambridge, the Centre for Computing History, then I think you ought to too. So this is the return of Synthesized. It took a year off last year, but it's back in full effect. It's happening at the Cambridge Centre for Computing History, which is in Cambridge, UK, and it's a brilliant venue. It's got like one of every computer almost ever made. It's a fantastic place, but for a couple of days each year they put on this show, and I've been attending for a number of years, obviously before and after COVID. We will be there, as you can see, myself and Peter. We're both going to be bringing early MIDI production kits, shall we say. So Peter's bringing his Atari 1040 ST with its original monitor, running hybrid arcs and MIDI tracks, and then he's going to be hooking that up to his a sequential 6-track Korg Poly 800, Korg DDD1, and his Chroma Polaris. So this is kind of early computer MIDI sequencing. I'm going to do much the same, but without the computer. I'm bringing the Yamaha YCAMs system, which some of you might have seen when I did the Yamaha presentation with Manny at Synth Fest a few years ago. So that's a Yamaha QX1, a TX816, an RX11 drum machine, and if it's working, the KX88 weighted controller. If it's not, I've loaded the DX7 in the boot as well, so we'll have something in there as well, and it'll all be of the period. And I've got some floppy disks with some original demo tracks on, so we'll be playing those. Multi-timbral FM goodness. It'll be fun. So yeah, come along and see us. It's not just us. Eddie Rose or Eddie Garcia, FKA Froze, is bringing his guitar synths, and there's the Synth DIY UK people, Stuart Jessup, Matt Evans, Paul Salisbury is going to be there, and there's a whole bunch of other people. Pete Catley will be there with his drum machines, fantastic drum machines. Bob Pearson, who is fantastic. He's the guy behind the Cheetah stuff. Do you remember the Cheetah spec drum and the modules that they used to do? He's one of the guys behind that. He's a lot of fun, great stories. So yeah, some brilliant stuff in there. And of course, Tony Jewell, the guy that's organising it, will have a whole bunch of things going on in there. And there's some pictures of previous events. There's the Fairlight that I took, one of the Fairlights I took. There's PWL's PPG Wave. That was the one that was used on You Spin Me Round and various other tracks. And yeah, lots of good stuff happening there. So yeah, if you're going to be in the Cambridge area, please do come along. You can buy a weekend ticket or day tickets. Children, should I say, childs can come in for a lower price. You can also do a family ticket where you get a bit more of a discount going on there. Thank you very much indeed, Sean. Kissing the machine. I don't know where you are, whether you're on a train whizzing past where I live at the moment or whether you're at home in Norwich. Thank you so much for your donation. It's much appreciated. And I've got to say, sitting in the waiting room, and he shouldn't be there because I gave him the night off because he's not well, is Kent Spong.
Bonsoir.
Hello.
What are you doing here?
Hello.
All right.
How you feeling?
I'm all right. I can sit for about 20 minutes and then I have to go and stand up again. But
Okay,
yeah.
well, we're only on for another 5 or so.
Yeah,
minutes or
exactly.
so.
Exactly.
We're cool. Well, it's good to see you, mate. It's good to see you're still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, did anybody see that Osmos CE B stock for sale on Thoman for, I think it was $699?
Really?
Yeah.
The 49 or the 61?
The 61.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was a bad boy.
You got one. Well, it's funny you should say that because mine arrives in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I've got one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw the price and I went, nah, I can't let that slide. I've got to do something about that. So I was a very, very bad person. I got rolling eyes from Fiona when the box turned up, of course. So, but
Excellent.
yeah. So I've yet to
Scott?
turn it on, but
I was going to say, how do you find it? But I shan't bother. Scott,
Not-
you're now the
not
odd
yet.
one out. Because he's got one and he's got
No,
one.
no, 'cause
Mine's arriving in a couple of days.
I've
He
got
was
the
like-
real thing though.
Oh, so have I. I've got that
it
as
was
well.
the odd one out anyway. Scottish.
Well, no, I'm glad you've
saying
evened
nothing.
the balance. We've got a proper
I'm
north-south
saying
divide
nothing,
here.
Rob.
Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, we're like 5 minutes from the end of the show. Seems like we've whizzed through. We're going to ask Michael. The album's out. Singles are rolling out as well. Any signs of playing live, gigging?
Actually, maybe. I'm looking into it right now. I'm trying to figure out a way to do like a one-man show.
Okay. Well,
Because
seeing as you're always in the box, I mean, yeah, it should be easy.
yeah, but I have guitar on
That's true.
a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of my
true.
tracks. So I'm gonna essentially rework the old songs for a set, and then see if there's a way I can do it so I can sing and play parts at the same time, and it doesn't look like boring, like a glorified DJ set or something. So because I've been asked to play, a few shows in the United Kingdom, one in Sheffield,
Ooh.
and possibly one in Florida. So it's just logistically, it just costs too much to bring people on flights to places, and
Yeah.
so I need to figure out how to sort of do a sort of one-man show. It can be done.
Oh yeah.
But I just want it to look good and not look shit.
Can't say fairer than that. Well, keep us informed if you come over to the UK, because I will definitely want to see you.
Yes.
If you can coincide the Sheffield gig with Synthfest in October, even better, because then it'll save me the trip.
I think it's November.
Oh, it's not too far away. Yeah, I could stay in Sheffield. For
And
a
if
few
you
weeks.
if you don't do one in Scotland, Michael, I'll be seriously disappointed.
I would love to do one in Glasgow. I think that's the last time I played a show was Glasgow at the Classic Grand.
Right, okay.
You know, good old days.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that's 20.
Really? Wow.
2018. Yeah, quite a while, nearly 10 years now. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about going back because I feel like I've been away for so long now that there's going to be places that no longer exist, you know, shops that don't exist anymore. And I'm going to be like, oh, let's go to that place. And it's like, oh, that's shut down 5 years ago. It's not, it's not a B&M.
Now it'll be a vape shop or a mobile store.
Yeah, it's a vape,
or
it's
a
a
nail
vape
bar.
shop. Yeah,
One of
yeah,
those.
yeah.
Yeah, vape
We
shop.
want
Yeah. Well, don't speak
Anyway.
about vape shops in Glasgow. That was never a good thing, was it?
Anyway, if you want more information about Michael Oakley, his website, there it is.
Have we gone dead? Is Rob gone?
michael-oakley.com.
Hello?
Hello? What?
Is his system overheated?
Oh, who? Me?
Oh, he's. Oh,
What happened?
oh, there you go. You're back.
Uh-oh.
That was weird.
What?
All I did was that.
Take two.
No, all I did was that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, mother? Oh, that's weird. I think it is StreamYard. No, the computer's fine.
It was
that's
fine here.
Oh, okay. I think this is that thing we've been having where StreamYard silences the audio for one person. It's weird.
Oh,
There
that
is
again. Yeah, that again. Yeah.
Anyway, back to this. Michael Oakley, michael-oakley.com. I'm sure Steve has put the link in there. He has. Look at that. You get all the information, news, and links to the videos and the merch and his discography, which is getting to be quite extensive. And of course, you can also go and buy the album from the new Retro Wave Bandcamp site. There it is. Buy all versions of the album over there. Don't forget, if you are in Europe, you can buy the CD and the vinyl versions over at hhv.de. There we go. Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show again. It's been great to see you. I mean, I always enjoy our chats. We chat most weeks.
Yes.
Even if it's just that.
Last time I was on the show, I was in my 30s. Now I'm in my 40s. Next time I'll be on the show, I'll be in my 50s.
That means I'll be in my 60s. Jesus.
Yeah,
That means I'll
me
be
too.
dead. I'll be dead.
Yeah, Kent will,
Ken will be the cardboard cutout in the back of the room.
Yeah,
oh God, yeah.
be one of me
Anyway.
next to Hans. Yeah.
Thank you to everyone. Should we just check what the temperature is? What was it? 33 point something.
Yes.
Alexa, what's the temperature in the studio?
29.
Studio temperature is 33.5 degrees.
Still 33.5.
Wow.
And it is 9 o'clock.
I've got
I
a
need
couple
to
of eggs cooking on my Mac
Yeah,
studio at the moment.
I need to open.
It'll
some
be ready
windows.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're,
crazy stuff.
we're leaving just in time for the second half of France-Norway.
I know. What the score was 1-0, wasn't it?
Oh, it's
France,
more
I
than
think.
that now.
Yeah.
It's 3-1, I think.
Is it really? Well, they're not playing Haaland. Oh, here we go. On to football. We shan't mention Scotland. I really do hope that you guys get through. But I have to admit,
It's not looking like.
I was watching the Ecuador
it's-
game last night, and they came back to beat Germany 2-1, and probably knock Scotland right down to the bottom, or getting close to the bottom of that third place table. And I thought, it's horrible. I really want Scotland, but Ecuador really did deserve that win last night.
We
So
don't deserve to go through, to be
No, we
honest.
don't.
That's a shame.
We don't. It's just bottling it as usual. Like, and here's the funny thing: we'll probably play, like a big team like France or Holland in about 6 months, and we'll beat them 2-0
You're better
because
than
that's what we do. And then everyone will be like, oh, "We're back," and
yeah.
it's like, "No, you're not."
No.
It's frustrating because last time I watched Scotland at a World Cup, I was a teenager. I was literally
That's
like,
nuts,
I
man.
was 1998. I was 16.
Wow.
16 years old. I'm 44 now, and this is the first time that they've been in a World Cup since then. Like, to put that in perspective, and when I watched the last couple of games, it was like, we don't deserve to be here. Like,
I'll tell you what, though, your fans have done you proud.
they always
Christ,
do.
Yeah.
We have the best fans.
Yeah.
There's
A
been some
good
amazing
spirit, good attitude, and
Yeah.
very warm and friendly people.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
watched that Iron Brew thing that when they did the amount of people drinking Iron Brew in this place, and since then my YouTube feed has been vintage Iron Brew adverts. You remember the Iron Brew Fiery limited edition? And they did that. Oh, it's brilliant. Go on YouTube.
She
They're
comes from a
fantastic.
long line of fannies.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. Brilliant stuff, Michael. Great to have you on the show again. You can come back anytime.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure we'll speak again in the coming days. Scotty, thank you so much for jumping on board as usual.
Good to see you all.
You're
Nice
not
to
going to be
meet
here
you,
next
Michael,
week.
as well.
Yes, a
I'm
pleasure.
off.
Thank you.
I won't be here next week. No, me
No.
and the good lady are over in Calador next week. So
It's like it's not been hot enough here.
because it's too cold up here, Rob, we need to go for some heat.
Come down here. Come to East Anglia. Got loads of it here. But well, enjoy the time off, and
Will do.
I'm sure we'll see you shortly after your return. And Mr. Spong, feel better soon.
Yes, sir.
Take
Yeah,
it easy.
Like I said, I'm all right as long as I'm standing. And
Well,
a
go
lot
and
of
do
the
some-
a lot of the Mustang restoration requires me standing. So
Well,
I've got a
take it
lot of
easy.
Mustang done this week.
Indeed. Take it
Yeah.
easy, mate. Enjoy
yeah.
your Osmos. Let me know what you think, because well, I mean, you've played Osmos before, but
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to
well,
getting my
yeah,
hands
but
on that
I'm
control
coming.
as well.
I'm coming at it in a completely different way. I didn't approach the last Osmos correctly. I tried to treat it like it was a CS80, which is a stupid thing to do.
Very stupid.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and guys, well, thank you very much. And to all our lovely audience members, thank you for joining in and participating. Thank you for the donations. Thank you to Steve Elbows for being the chat moderator and posting up all the links during the show. Much appreciated. And we will see you back here, same time, same place next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Come down to Cambridge if you can. Say hi to me and Pete. And yeah, we'll see you next week. And if you're in somewhere that's very hot and warm, I know that Central Europe is warming up even more over the weekend. I think Prague is down for 40 plus. Take it easy, keep hydrated, and look after yourselves. We'll see you next week, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.